What's good, YouTube? It's Justice. I used to be Pay, and today I'm back with another video. And in this video, I'm going to be telling you why it feels like Drake is afraid of being Drake. But before I get into that, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Do all those things. It helps me out a ton. And also, I got a brand new audio system, so this should sound very, very crispy in comparison to a lot of my other videos, especially that last one, because that one was rough. But we are 3 episodes into the Iceman live stream series that is the rollout to Drake's next album, Iceman. And if we're looking at these live streams for just what they are as live streams, I think they've been actually really, really cool. I think the visuals for these streams have been amazing. The places that Drake's been going in, the camera work, like everything has been really, really cool aesthetically. And I've never seen Drake put in this much effort to a rollout, especially when it comes to something like this. Normally, you might get a billboard, you might get some ads on your phone, but never really anything this in depth, especially with some sort of artistic vision behind it. We're getting hidden messages that we're not going to know the answer to till the album comes out. We're getting Easter eggs, and obviously, like, Pinocchio has been one of the main themes of this entire series that is Iceman. So we don't really know what's going on there, but it's all very intriguing stuff. Yet, when we're talking about the music that has accompanied these live streams so far, it's nothing crazy, like it's pretty typical regular Drake stuff. If I had to be honest, I like What I Missed. That was cool. It's not like a crazy lit song that I'm going to be playing and love. Like, it's all right. I do actually really do like the Yeet song. The Yeet song is good, so I will give him that. That song is good. But overall, the level of effort being put into these live streams, the level of effort with the art, really doesn't meet the level of effort in the music. The music just seems like it's regular old Drake stuff. And for a lot of fans, that's been kind of disappointing when tuning into these streams where you're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? What is this? And then you get like a pretty generic Drake song to wrap things up, especially after Iceman episode 3, where a lot of people were expecting something huge. Now, part of this is the fault of like Drake fan pages on Twitter who were saying these crazy things. Oh my God, this episode's gonna be wild. Be on the lookout for this, and that. Like, they were really gassing it up. And even somebody like What's the Dirt, who's a pretty big content creator who is like really a big fan of Drake, he was saying things like maybe the red button is gonna appear on episode 3. That red button that we've been talking about for like over a year now. And just for the record, I believe the red button was Family Matters. And that was a pretty good red button. I think that song, as it existed, would have defeated like 95% of rappers in a rap battle, just like Kendrick is that 5% that would have been ready for it and countered it perfectly. So I think that Family Matters was the red button for the record. But regardless, two of Drake's biggest fans, Academics and What's the Dirt, were left a bit disappointed after episode 3 of Iceman. They were just kind of like, is that it?
Is it over? What did I miss? Literally. What did I miss? Chat, what did I miss? What did I miss? Literally. I think it's still live. It's still live. He ain't cut. Oh, he just cut it. He just cut the stream.
Like, there's nothing really here. And what I'm really getting from these streams is that we're getting really cool concepts, really cool visuals, but there isn't a lot of substance from Drake in the area that would most be important, which is the music. There's not a lot of real meat here yet. Like, it's kind of like we're getting, the icing from Drake. We're getting the toppings, we're getting sprinkles, we're getting a cherry, we're getting M&Ms, we're getting gummy bears, but there's no cake. It's clear that Drake was rattled by the events of 2024. Any rational person in his situation would have been. Yet he so badly wants us to believe that he's super, super cold-hearted. He's a tough guy that nothing bothers him. The whole world turned on me, but I'm Iceman. It don't matter. I'm Drake. And that's just not him. That's just not you, bro. And unfortunately for me, Sean C. already put out an amazing analysis. He had a great take on Drake and his behavior over the last few weeks when it comes to this entire situation.
It's like somebody telling you that they're not about to cry, but you see their eyes are welling up, and they trying to act like it's not like affecting them in any way. And it's okay for it to affect you. Talk about it. This is the medium in which you would talk about those types of things. But it's like,
one thing that separated Drake from other rappers on his come up was his sensitivity. For better or for worse, Drake would rap about his feelings, even when it wasn't just anger or joy, which was kind of weird at the time. When he would rap about these issues with women, and it wouldn't be on some tough player shit. It was relatable to your average guy. He was a tender-hearted lover boy, letting it all out. We need that guy back because clearly Drake's feelings were hurt by Kendrick. It was hurt by the people he thought were his friends, and it was hurt by the rap collective. I think that some of that constant bullying from people like Charlemagne, not saying Charlemagne in particular, but like people like Charlemagne early in Drake's career when they were calling him soft, saying he wasn't hip-hop, he was too emotional, he was too sensitive.
Decipher who he was talking about. Drake's album is called Nothing Was the Same. He's a sensitive ass rapper, and he probably wears pajamas. I would say onesies.
All that stuff really did kind of stick in Drake's head. At least that's what it looks like. I'm not saying that's the case, but that's what it looks like, because once he fully became the #1 guy in rap, like no debate, he kind of started to portray himself a bit more as a tough guy. All of a sudden, he's mob ties and he's getting people touched and he's hanging out with Jay Prince and them. And it was kind of like he was so sick of being made fun of and played with that he kind of retired that sensitive character and sensitive person that he portrayed when he first got into the game. He still is seen as a sensitive guy because no matter what, you can't really fake who you are. So there'll be moments where he'll kind of overreact to something or go at someone that's a little bit extra, but he's not as outwardly expressive with his emotion in his music specifically like he used to be. Maybe when we fully get Iceman the project, we will have that emotional release from Drake where he's just getting stuff off his chest, his thoughts, his feelings, his emotions from that time period. Maybe he's just holding that to him right now and is going to release that later on, but we're just going off of what we have to go off of from what he's given us right now. Drake in this situation really does have a victim mentality in regard to what happened over the last year or so. He feels like the entire world like conspired against him to take him down, but he won't just be fully genuine with how he feels about it. Like, it's like he's kind of like that one like really, really bad kid or like bad cousin where like maybe they're jumping up and down on the couch and you're like, hey man, you're not supposed to be jumping on that couch. Like, relax before you hurt yourself or you break something. And they like, whatever. And they keep jumping up and down on the couch and then they hit their head or whatever. And they kind of look at you. You know how kids get hurt and they look at you, they give you this look where he's about to cry, but he knows like, I just got told not to do this, so now I can't cry. That's kind of how Drake is moving right now. As a result, it feels like Drake is kind of putting on a persona. Like, this just isn't you, bro. You were wearing a smoking bullet hole hoodie when you were performing. It's okay to acknowledge that this stuff, affected you. Like, not only did we have, a life-changing, music-shifting beef that just took place last year, but now he's entering a lawsuit against Universal Music Group, one of the top artists in the world. Suing a top 3 label in the music industry is wild stuff. That's crazy. Now, I understand he might not want to speak on that in specifics about what's going on because he might jeopardize certain things. I get that, but at least speak on the mentality of that because that's nuts. Drake suing UMG, one of the most powerful conglomerations probably in America right now, is nuts. That's crazy. Especially because of the relationship that Drake and UMG seemed to have just a few years ago. He loved his label. Shout out to the label. They throwing him however much money. Who's the CEO of Universal? Because it's saying Lucian, but that just doesn't make sense. Who filling up the piggy banks? Who's bringing home the bacon? Like, he was cool. Lucian would talk about how Drake has no budget. Whatever Drake asked for, it was like he was Lucian's favorite son, bruh. Other artists had even acknowledged how good the relationship between Drake and UMG at least appeared to be. Kanye used to say that Lucian Grange was Drake's rich baby daddy.
Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucian and Universal.
And that Drake sold his soul because of this relationship that he had with UMG. And now, again, it's early into the rollout, so I might be jumping the gun. We might get more information on this. We might understand how Drake feels about the label when we fully get to the album. I'm just saying right now, it's kind of like, damn, bro, like there's a 50-foot elephant in the room. And we just gonna move past that? We just gonna ignore that? Like, I would love to hear about the mental state and the mental preparation that it took to go up against probably one of the biggest and most powerful conglomerates in like the American economy, damn near. I might be gassing it, but still, you get what I'm saying. Like, the American entertainment industry is one of the biggest industries in our economy, and UMG is right there at the top of it. That's a huge step to take. I'm gonna say it again for the Drake fans who are gonna try and kill me for this video. I understand that it's early. I understand that, he hasn't given us everything, but when we're looking at what we have so far musically, it just doesn't match the level of effort that he's putting in on the rollout. Drake went and got a CDL to drive down Toronto, and we're just getting, regular Drake stuff at the moment. Like, this stuff sounds like this could have been For All the Dogs Again or CLB2. The reason people love Drake's music, and I mean the real fans, not just, the people who like One Dance and God's Plan, is because of the feeling that it gives them when they listen to the music. Because not a lot of rappers will be totally 100% vulnerable in the way that they feel, even if they come off as soft. And we all have those moments as people, especially us regular people who aren't street guys or aren't tough dudes. Like Drake trying to move away from that and trying to kind of put a wall up to seem unbothered and act like he's fine and he's just, he's Teflon and all that. It's like taking away his superpowers. because that's what Drake came up off of. It's almost like if Steph Curry was listening to all the haters who were telling him in his comment section, bro, you wouldn't be anything without shooting threes. All you do is jack up threes, bro. You're not even that good at driving the ball. All you do is jack up threes. And the next season, Steph Curry stops shooting threes and starts driving to the rim every play and trying to do everything but shoot threes. You just completely handicapped yourself for no reason but to, I don't know, like not get hate for being good at what you're good at. Like, that doesn't even make sense. This might seem kind of crazy to use as an example, but we've all been seeing the Young Thug situation over the last really few months, but especially over the last week or so, where things have really heated up and everyone has been on his head. Like, they've been roasting Young Thug. They've been killing this man on the internet for the last few days especially, but really like the last few months. And, you know, everyone's been telling Young Thug, just be quiet, please shut up, please stop talking. And then he goes on to do an interview, funny enough. But when looking at that interview, I honestly think that that might have been the right move. Now, people are still roasting Young Thug. They're still making fun of him.
If we go to prison for the rest of our life, whoop-de-doo. We go to prison, nigga. And we fight to get out this bitch. If we beat these folk, whoop-de-doo. We beat them. We go forward.
They're still watching that interview and saying, bro, you contradicted yourself here. You didn't make sense when you said this. This was stupid when you said that. They're still like poking holes in what he's saying. But I think that he came off so raw and so passionate that people at least are trying to understand where he's coming from rather than just completely downing him every single second of talking about this situation. Now you're actually getting people going from Thug's point of view and being like, well, you know, I understand this. I understand that. I understand why he would feel so passionate about his friends. I understand why he kept going at Gunna, because he feels like he's done so much for Gunna. And like, people are actually starting to rationalize what Young Thug has been trying to get across in these five word tweets where he's just saying, if you're not a rat, go gospel. And if you do this, you know, they're trying to actually understand where he's coming from. They're actually humanizing his point of view rather than just seeing, you know, a bunch of words on a screen from Young Thug or maybe some words on a screen from a Young Thug fan page, actually seeing him talk about it and seeing his eyes and seeing where he's really coming from, the bass in his voice, the heart in his, you know, the heart in what he's saying. It made people at least humanize Thug. And maybe they still are anti-Thug. Maybe they're still going against him. Maybe they still think he's wrong for this, this, and this. But they can at least sit down and understand where Young Thug's coming from on a human level. So no, the interview didn't completely fix his PR. It's not over. Everyone doesn't love Young Thug again. But I think that the heat that was on him beforehand is actually a bit lessened after that. Because we now have Thug's point of view. We now have his perspective. We now understand why he feels the way he feels and why he moves the way he moves. And I think that unironically, that would be good for Drake as well. People are going to roast Drake regardless. Whether he's addressing the situation, they're going to say, oh, he's still butthurt. Oh my God, Drake. Or they're going to say, wow, bro, he's so scared of addressing the situation. Bro's trying to hide the fact that it's bothering him. Bro still won't even talk about it. Oh my gosh, bro, he's just trying to avoid it. Either way, people are going to talk about Drake in this situation regardless, no matter how he handles it. But I just feel like in order to get people understanding Drake again, because I don't think that a majority of rap fans want to hate Drake. I think that there was a hate train. I think there still is a hate train because he's the biggest guy in the game. So there's always going to be a hate train. But I think that the people that were going at Drake, I don't think all of them want to hate Drake. I think they want him to see the error in what they believe he's done wrong and kind of address that. And if not, at least face it head on. Face it head on. Because, again, a majority of people don't want to see him fail. Most fans in rap still love Drake. They still love his music. He still gets a lot of love. So it's not like he just needs to shut off the entire world and be like, F all y'all, because that's not how most people feel. Most people don't really want to see Drake fail. They want great music. And the way that he can give us great music is by being real. And I want to finish this video off by saying I understand why Drake wouldn't want to express himself. It's not a secret. He's been ridiculed his entire career for expressing himself, whether it was the hairstyle he chose, whether it was what he was talking about in his songs, whether it was him singing, being emotionally vulnerable, talking about women, you know, painting his nails. Whatever Drake has done has been ridiculed to an enormous degree. So it's not ridiculous. I understand it. But when we're talking about the music, if we're looking to unlock Drake to his highest ability as an artist, because he is a great artist when he wants to be, that comes with that emotion. That's what it comes with. It's no secret into what like makes Drake tick. There's no secret into being like, how do we get Drake making that great music again? It's just a leap of faith from Drake to be open. He has to let that nerdy kid from Toronto who wore his heart on his sleeve, who sung in his music, who was a rap and hip hop nerd, he has to let that guy out. That's really all it is. It's not a secret. It's not a mystery. It's not an investigation that needs to be done. It's letting that nerdy kid from Toronto who's super passionate about music and wears his heart on his sleeve, it's letting that guy grab the microphone again and just be open. But who knows? Maybe Drake is going to do that on Iceman. Maybe I'm jumping the gun. But I'm just saying right now, it feels like Drake is scared of being Drake. That is who Drake is. That's why we love Drake. But regardless, if you made it to the end of this video, I greatly, greatly appreciate you. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought about this video down below. And yes, I understand what my last paycheck podcast was about, but just ignore that. Just ignore that, okay? But if you made it this far, have a good day. Be safe, be blessed. I go by the name of Pay. Peace.